It's the Knicks and the Atlanta Hawks here at the Garden tonight. Let's meet the lineups with Mike Walczewski.
First for the Hawks. At guard at 6'8" for Michigan State, number 8, Steve Smith. At guard at 6'1" from Oklahoma, number 10, Mookie Blaylock. At forward at 6'8" from UNLV, number 2, Stacey Augmon. At forward at 6'9" from Eastern Michigan, number 43, Grant Long. And at center at 6'11" from Arkansas, number 28, Andrew Lang. The trainer is Joe O'Toole, assistant coaches Dick Helm and Brian Winters, and the head coach, Lenny Wilkins. Eastern Conference champion, your New York Knicks. At guard at 6'5" from Oklahoma State, number 3, John Starks. At guard at 6'4" from Illinois, number 11, Derek Harper. At forward at 6'10" from Pittsburgh, number 54, Charles Smith. At forward at 6'9" from Virginia Union, number 34, co-captain Charles Oakley. And at center at 6'11" from Ohio State, number 32, Herb Williams. The head trainer is Mike Sumner, the assistant trainer Tim Oaks, assistant coach Jim Van Gundy and Bob Salmi, and the head coach for the Knicks, Pat Riley.
As you can see, the Knicks defense hasn't been functioning that well lately. Charles Smith was certainly on that trip. He knows how rough things were, but he also knows that in the time he's been here with Pat Riley leading the ship, the Knicks can take the floor at the Garden always with confidence.
Well, it's great to come back home and play. The biggest thing for us is we had a tough road trip. We have to come back and get refocused to playing at home and play together. I mean, it's great to play in front of your home crowd. It's great to sleep in your own bed. All those things come along with it. So we're looking to go out here this evening and really have a good showing and work the ball around and get back to the way we've been playing.
Coach Charles Smith takes the floor without Patrick Ewing. Jumping center tonight, it'll be Herb Williams, Oakley, of course, John Starks, and Derek Harper. Stacey Augmon, Grant Long, Andrew Lang, Mookie Blaylock, and Steve Smith. For Lenny Wilkins, Hawks of Atlanta, Jake O'Donnell, Tommy Nunez, and Tommy Wood, the officials tonight. We are set to go at the Garden.
Well, the harsh realities are for Atlanta that they played last night at home and lost to Milwaukee in overtime. So they faced what the Knicks faced earlier this week with the Lakers one night and Golden State the next. Fatigue can be your enemy.
Mookie Blaylock coming off his 5th career triple-double in the loss to Milwaukee last night. Starks all the way, beating big Steve Smith.
Well, I would have thought Smith could have made a better effort. Perhaps even blocked that shot. Didn't require a super move by John.
The Hawks, yet another team that have gone black on the road with the new look uniforms and a new look team. Herb Williams out high to pester Mookie Blaylock, but now he's got to drop back. Stacey Augmon, this is a mismatch with Herb Williams going up, and a 3-second violation called against Andrew Lang. If you're curious, and I was, so I asked John, the Charles Oakley sneakers still not in from Nike. Hopefully this week. Charles Smith up strong. Good result.
Charles got plenty of time in training camp playing the middle with Patrick Ewing out the entire exhibition season. So he should be comfortable and happy to get the opportunity.
Augmon with a tough-to-make pass to Grant Long. But an offensive foul, and the Hawks are having a problem getting things going.
Key thing for Charles Smith tonight and the Knicks is to stay out of foul trouble.
Garden a little quiet here in the opening moments. Derek Harper with Mookie Blaylock. Starks pops out from down low. Smith moving on long. That's 2 for Charles Smith, and it looks as though that's a matchup that the Knicks want to try to exploit. Starks guarding the 6'6" Steve Smith. Grant Long with Oakley. Herb Williams with Andrew Lang. Smith on Stacey Augmon. That was a 3-point air ball. Oakley. Herb is there off the glass. It's funny, John, you look at the Hawks, they're tall at all the positions that you don't have to be, and they're not tall enough at the position that you really need to be.
Lenny Wilkens has a lot to say now. His team's getting killed inside.
In football, there are 3.
Grant Long. Long pass for Starks again. Lost it, got it back, and got the hoop.
That was Charles Smith on the delivery.
5 possessions for Atlanta, 3 turnovers, 1 air ball, and 1 24-second expiration. Augmon for Lang. He didn't even come close to hitting the rim, but a foul. So Andrew Lang, involved in the Charles Barkley trade to the Sixers and then signed by Atlanta. Lenny Wilkens now only 10 games away from Red Auerbach's win total of 938. It's taken him 2 more seasons, but I don't think there's any way you can look at it and not admire it all the same. 22 seasons as a coach. Lang gets the Hawks on the board 10-1.
And it was a championship for Lenny Wilkens with Seattle in 1979. Red Auerbach had 9 of them.
He had a good run, I think we can say, right?
You realize now, I'll get back to that after Charles Smith gets through. Talk about Red for a second.
Ball poked away, saved by Oakley. Again, the Knicks go to Smith. Dumps it off. Oh, that's a great give and go. Oakley took a circuitous route, but he got there nonetheless.
Nice to see Patrick Ewing at the end of the bench clapping, you know, like a fan after that play, because he's been making a lot of those similar type plays.
Knicks are perfect. 6 for 6 from the floor. Illegal defense called against the Knicks. First infraction. Here's a look at the list that Lenny will soon, unless the Hawks have a really, really, really bad season, be at the top of. That's Andrew Lang and Mookie Blaylock. Another Atlanta miss. Still no hoops for them, and all of the Knick points have come in the paint. They're exploiting the Hawks' lack of size inside. First Knick miss by Oakley.
Well, Andrew Lang is listed at 6'9". He can do a better job than he's done so far.
Steal by Starks, who breaks out with Harper. Harper has it knocked away at the last minute by Stacey Augmon, and a foul. He is down. Oakley was down holding his foot. Charles Oakley down holding the foot that, of course, is bothered by the dislocated second toe.
Knicks not allowing second shots. Grant Long trying to get inside, making a pass that John Starks read clearly. And Derek Harper on the drive draws the foul. Al, I mentioned Lang at 6'9". He's 6'11". Correction on that. And he can be a very effective rebounder, although he's starting too slowly in this one.
Derek Harper gets no. He was having a tough time from the free throw line so far this season, only 68%. And you know, John, the height police came over and got me too. I think I mentioned Steve Smith is 6'6". He is, having grown rapidly in only 4 minutes of this first quarter, 6'8".
Harper had 6 out of 8 from the foul line in leading the Knicks the other night in Golden State. He shot them better then.
Here's Steve Smith. And a foul on John Starks. Of course, Atlanta last night blew a 16-point lead and eventually lost in overtime to the Milwaukee Bucks. And it's passed along to us that they had a pretty rough stretch in that game, too. 1 field goal in the last 10 minutes. And no field goals so far in this one. Starks with another steal. Harper in traffic. That leaves Oakley open. Big follow by Charles Smith. 2 more points in the paint for the Knicks. Augmon bounces off Smith. Another air ball. That's 2 for him in the game. What a pass by Harper. And a reset for the Knicks. Herb Williams. With Patrick Ewing nursing the sore knee, Herb Williams has 2 hoops for 4.
Lenny Wilkins, you know, would like to call a timeout, but he doesn't want to use them all now. He's just watching his guys suffer through 5 minutes and 9 seconds before they got a field goal.
Stacey Augmon with a hoop and a foul. Here's the awesome follow-up. Charles
Smith that fans in New York have not seen enough of. What a play by Charles. Big-time follow.
Stacey Augmon with the first Atlanta field goal. It comes 5 minutes and 9 seconds into the first quarter. 17-5 New York, and it looks as though the Knicks got angry somewhere over Des Moines, Iowa, as they flew back from the West Coast.
They're playing with great energy, Al, and it's on defense.
Another follow by Smith.
We really see the energy, and now it's spreading to the offense, and they're moving the ball, and they're really exploiting this situation. The Hawks are flat, and the Knicks are all over them.
Patrick cheering. Another Herb hoop. He's 3 for 3, and it's 19-5. Steve Smith using his speed. Harper for 3. This time he's got it. Harper's only been hitting 19% from beyond the stripe, but gets it there, and the Hawks get the roll at the other end.
Stacey Augmon has improved his range. Worked hard on it this summer.
Again, Smith, this time rejected by Lang. Augmon with a good crossover dribble at the free throw line, drawing the foul. Charles Oakley is called for the foul.
Charles Smith thought he was on a roll of inside play. Here he got the running room, clear path to the hoop, but Andrew Lang came alive and sent Charles away unhappy.
Stacey Augmon misses the free throw. Augmon, one of those UNLV stars who entered the league wearing number 2 in honor of the coach, Jerry Tarkanian, who wore number 2 in college. You see the horrible shooting start by the Hawks. The Knicks also denying them shots because of the turnovers and rebounding. Greg Anthony has since changed, and Larry Johnson is the other one who kept the deuce. Charles Smith is really feeling it. This time he's stopped again by Andrew Lang. Inside and outside for Charles Smith.
A lot of players get depressed when they have a shot block. Charles Smith just continued on.
Smith 4 for 5, 8 points. Herb Williams, the outlet for Harper. Starks was running, now stops, pops for 3. He said he would do that from time to time on a fast break, and that was one of those times. Foul on Charles Smith that he complains about. Second foul on Charles Smith. Knicks over the limit, so the Hawks will shoot.
Al, you're referring to Starks shooting the jumper on the fast break?
You know, he said at one point in one of the interviews that we did that it's so close now, it's a viable option on a fast break. And while this was not a leading 3-on-1 charge up the floor, it was a fast break, and he deliberately stepped out of the line to take that shot.
Yes, and he had a good look at the basket. That's the key thing, too. And he had people in front of him on his team.
Anthony Mason leaves, and Charles Smith hears the cheers. Richard Lewis on Celebrity Row actually went for the standing ovation in the first quarter.
It is a way of Richard getting noticed, Al, too, when you stand up.
And it worked.
Yes, it did.
Mason for Starks. 3 for Starks. The Knicks 27, the Hawks 11. the Hawks have an offensive system, it just does not appear evident. Many times down the floor, it's just let Stacey come up with something. He's off again. Harper's running. Steve Smith challenged him, but Harper blew by him.
During the Knicks 4-game road trip, you did not see this kind of running by the Knicks very often, if at all.
Now the Knicks have said, we're going to be running. No, we're not going to be running. Well, they're running again, and up big.
Jesus. Shut off. So when you go that way, then you moving and doing it.
During the Dodge Intrepid equipment sale.
Back at the Garden, Knicks up big, 29-11. They're a bucket away from a 20-point lead, 7.5 minutes into this game.
Everything the Knicks are doing, you know, Pat Riley's happy about. Passing is what's making the Knicks click as well right now. 3-4 passes. John Starks with the open shot. He was ready and waiting.
On we go. Mookie Blaylock loses a double team. Is met by another double team. 7 on the shot clock for Andrew Lang. Now Mookie Blaylock challenged by Starks. It's an Oakley and Harper team rebound that goes out of bounds.
Big bump by Charles Oakley in the direction of Derek Harper. Got that ball loose. What the Knicks are doing, Al, is challenging. You'll note how much they're challenging every shot by the Atlanta Hawks.
Steve Smith is out. Kenny Norman is in. Lenny Wilkins still tinkering big time with this team. 9 different players have started for the Hawks. Mason, Harper. Followed beautifully by Charles Oakley.
What timing. What timing by Oakley. A lot of things had to happen for that to work. The timing of Oakley being there and the ball being off the rim, clear of the cylinder, so he wasn't getting an offensive interference.
That's what you call staying with the play until the bitter end. Another rebound for Oakley at the other end. Mason and now Harper. 3:37 to go. The Knicks are up by 20. Mason uses the Oakley screen. Harper fakes the 3 for Herb Williams. Oakley rejected by Lang. Almost saved by Herb Williams. The officials say it's Hawks ball.
Charles Oakley's sore foot and all over the boards after that steal by Mason. Anthony pushing the ball up. Nice bounce pass to Harper. And Charles Oakley came in for the tip-in. Perfectly timed.
John Koncak has entered the game for Atlanta. He started some games, as has Kenny Norman. We'll get back to that tinkering idea by Lenny Wilkins. Augman is off. Greg Anthony has checked in for the Knicks. He brings the ball across the line. This is a very patient setup by the Knicks. And they're looking to go inside. Williams bangs on contact. What a first quarter for Herb Williams. 8 points. Contact. He bangs it in from long range. It's funny, John, when he got that big contract a few years ago, people were aghast because of what an average player he was, but the market has so quickly made his deal because of his size look okay.
Yes, that was around $2 million a year. Contact at 7 feet, much prefers shooting long jump shots than playing like the big man that he is at 7 feet.
There'll be an offensive foul. Herb Williams on setting the screen. Herb's 4 for 5 with 3 rebounds, 8 points. Charles Smith on the bench with 8, 6 for Derek Harper, 4 for Oakley, 7 for John Starks. Stacey Augmon has 7 of Atlanta's 13. Under 2 to go in the first quarter. Wookie Blaylock with a beautiful move. Deflected out of bounds off the fingertips of Herb Williams.
Of course, if the Knicks were at practice now, Pat Riley might say, Charles, why didn't you give the ball to John Starks, who was open on your left, rather than trying to split hairs and zing that ball inside?
Monty Williams getting a chance to see a little action tonight. He's getting ready to check in. Blaylock down low for Augmon. Get out of here with that. Herb Williams with the block. He's doing it all.
John Starks with a little pat on the backside to Herb Williams as a thank you. 6'8" Augmon. He's got the arms over Starks, but not Herb Williams.
And Pat Riley's going to go small. Herb hears it from this sellout crowd, and Monty Williams replaces him. Three-pointer is followed by Grant Long. Starks is there, and a foul is called. So the Knicks go small. They'll put Oakley on John Koncak. Mason will be in with him. Monty Williams, Greg Anthony, and John Starks now leaves for the entrance of Hubert Davis.
The starting backcourt getting a little clinical in their discussion, it looks like. John Starks and Derek Harper. Monty Williams, Alex, didn't play against Golden State the other night. He did play in 3 of the 4 games. His last workout was against the Lakers. Fortunately for Monty, an easy win for the Knicks, but Monty had a very tough time scoring underneath. He was 1 for 8 in his 22 minutes, but did have 5 rebounds against the Lakers.
There's an excellent lengthy article in this week's Sports Illustrated which focuses on the heart condition of Monty Williams, and the eerie images of Hank Gathers are throughout the article, and that's the sort of thing he thinks about. Missing the time he did at Notre Dame and then finishing out with a flourish. The Knicks took the chance on him, and so far he's been nothing but impressive. Anthony Mason goes all the way across the lane. Oakley with another follow. Charles Oakley very active. Every one of the Knicks is, for that matter. A rare Knick turnover in the quarter. Kenny Norman leads it for Blaylock, who's got to bring it on out. Grant Long is fouled by Monty Williams with 37.9 seconds to go. Oh, this sounds like a tennis crowd in here tonight. But it's over.
I doubt there are many leftovers from the afternoon now.
Well, 10 after 6, they finally walked off the court here, and by 8:40 we were tipping off the game, only at the Garden, right? Grant Long hits the free throw. Grant Long and Steve Smith in the trade with the Miami Heat. Really a surprising trade when you first heard about it, because of Grant Long's presence on that front line and how high they thought Steve Smith could take them. I remember the Steve Smith debut, John, against the Knicks, in which he scored, I think, 24 points, and everyone was yelling, he's the next Magic Johnson. Suddenly he's an expendable part of the Miami Heat problem.
I'll never forget the first game he played in the NBA. Pat Riley and the Knicks were down in Miami. He was the star of the game.
Hubert Davis makes the quick connection off the bench. Final seconds of the opening quarter. The Knicks 35, the Hawks 18. Wookie Blaylock with some nice dribbling. But the Knicks give it right back. Grant Long for 3 at the buzzer, and that'll do it. The first chapter of this game is all Knicks. Herb Williams, 8 points, 3 rebounds.
Black and white, by the edge of the ocean and under it. And these faces all have one thing in common. You'll find them in Florida. There are over 4 million miles of roads in Alamo territory, and every day with every car nationwide, only Alamo gives you all those miles for free, including the ones in Florida. A place full of faces that will bring a smile to yours.
Today I've got an even better plan for your business with even bigger savings.
Maybe this time I should check that out by calling this number here.
Not sure about those big savings? For the facts, call 1-800-COMPARE, and AT&T will guarantee you competitive long-distance prices.
Let me get you another coffee.
Right after I call 1-800-COMPARE.
1-800-COMPARE, the number other long-distance companies don't want you to call.
Phone's dead.
Oh, how strange.
AT&T, for the life of your business.
Introducing the JVC Easy One, the first point-and-shoot camcorder. It's so easy, you'll fall in love.
New York Knicks basketball is brought to you in part by Toyota. I love what you do for me, Toyota.
At the end of one, we take a look at a Perry Ellis look right now at Hubert Davis in action. Hubert has had two very solid games, one against Golden State, one against the Lakers. It isn't just jump shooting for Hubert. He's going to the drive more and more. That's really rounding out your game. Defense comes up to stop the three, and you just take that big step and go around him.
Knicks without Patrick Ewing, of course, tonight, as we've told you. Patrick playing 3 full seasons without missing a game 3 times. He's missed only 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 games since 1989, with a sore right knee being the most prominent cause for him to miss games. This will be the 4th time Patrick has missed a game since 1989 with a sore right knee.
Patrick is a fine dresser, Al, you know.
Anthony Bonner wasn't too bad either.
Yes, he's solid also.
Knicks still without Anthony Bonner. Doug Christie's a couple of weeks away. Doc Rivers still working on things. That all postponed some difficult roster decisions. Here's Anthony Mason banging in on John Koncak. And a whistle. Horrific shooting by the Hawks. Terrific shooting by the Knicks. 5 for 16, 16 of 25. Knicks started out 6 of 6. Foul was on John Koncak, and the Knicks inbound with a fresh 24. Mookie Blaylock with the loose ball scoop. Tyrone Corbin checks in for the Atlanta Hawks. That's the only lineup change that I see. Knicks called for their... I thought they were going to call illegal defense, but the Hawks were allowed to take the hoop, negating the call, and it was scored by John Koncak. So the Knicks are not charged for the illegal defense, but it really doesn't matter because the next time they're going to get the free throw, the Hawks anyway.
Well, Koncak's hit his second jump shot. Looks like that's what he'll do all night. Hubert Davis shows again how good he can be going to the hoop and finishing with the left hand.
And soft touch with that left hand. Remember when he had the cast, John, we joked that he'd become one of the best shooting left-handed guards in the NBA. When he had the cast on his wrist for about 6 weeks or so. Stacey Augmon plays tall and gets the follow.
Stacey Augmon is the leading scorer on this team at 21 a game. Now in his 4th year.
Can you believe it's his 4th year?
Yeah, it's amazing. And the highest he's ever averaged is 14. Playing out of the forward position, though, he's become a prolific scorer.
Second foul in the game called by John Koncak. There's Stacey Augmon. Agree with what I said before, John, about the offensive system. There doesn't seem to be any sort of a scheme of what the Hawks are trying to do here, and maybe it's because so many different players have started. They're not used to each other yet.
Their problem, Al, you're right, is when they go to the bench. And I was talking to Dick Helm, one of their assistant coaches, before the game about that. They lose their continuity entirely when they go to the bench. They have 7 new players from last season when they won 57 games. And it's very difficult to get the continuity guys on the same page. Look how long it's taken the Knicks, and they're still not perfectly there themselves.
You know, when you're not sure on offense, a lot of times you get a lot of one-on-one basketball, and that's what we're seeing. Stacey Augmon, Mookie, they resort to that a lot.
And what you're talking about here, this subject deals with giving players the ball at the right moment so they can be effective. The other night in L.A. after the game, we talked to Hubert Davis, and he was citing how Greg Anthony, as he's doing right now, got him the ball at the right time in the right spot every time. That's what continuity is on the offensive end, and the Hawks with 7 new guys are learning that quality about each other.
Big Steve Smith mans the point now for Miami. Cross court for Ty Corbin. Anthony Mason high for the rebound. Also in for Atlanta, Fred Vincent. A long shot to make this team. Greg Elo still recovering from knee surgery, back in about a week. Ronnie Williams misses the 3 attempt, and John Koncak grabs the rebound.
And what really hurts the Hawks is they are basically playing without a center on offense.
Atlanta continues to fire up the long-range shots. Monty Williams gets the roll.
Now, if John Koncak at 7 feet can't deal with Monty Williams on a play like that, what is he doing? He's hit 2 jump shots, but he's got to be a physical force out there, or at least look like one.
I think we've learned, haven't we? He's just not very good.
He should show some heart.
Steve Smith outside. Kenny Norman is off. Rebound by Corbin. He misses inside. Monty Williams spins away from Koncak. Nice save. Cameraman taking some hits, and Anthony Mason gets a hit of his own. 43-22. Vincent in and out. We remind you that for as bad as Atlanta looks, and they look bad, one of the worst things that you can do is get a first-half 20-point lead in the NBA. Monty Williams is called for the foul, his second, so a couple of quick whistles against Monty Williams. So John Koncak is out, replaced by Andrew Lang. And John, we have some guys who took a hit for the network here.
Ouch!
Alan Friedman going down, but coming right back up.
With the smile, though. You notice that, Al? With the smile.
6'10", 245 pounds, right in his face. Kenny Norman, a very smooth move to the hoop. 43-24. Talking about one-on-one basketball, you got 2 assists for the Atlanta Hawks. Steve Smith and Mookie Blaylock should be ashamed. The Knicks doing a great job of moving the ball around.
They're getting the ball to Charles Smith, who's hustling for position, and he's getting the basketball. Something he has craved since he's been a member of the Knicks, and that is when he gets in the post, please give me that basketball. Well, it's happening more and more. Talking about getting to know a player, the Knicks seem to certainly have a sense of Charles Smith's presence better than ever.
And these fans are noticing the effort. They're noticing the diving for the balls. They're noticing that he's going up stronger. They're noticing that he's blocking a shot. They're noticing that he's hitting his jumpers.
And they're buying tickets, Al.
Exactly, John.
And they're showing up.
Are there any left to buy?
No.
Oh.
No, they've,
well, then how are they doing that?
Well, they noticed that...
in other ways, maybe.
In other ways, yeah. We'll get back to that next commercial break.
From you? The free throws make it 45-24. Knicks up 21 again. Steve Smith on Greg Anthony. Sure, Greg Anthony and Stacey Augmon had a few things to say to each other as former UNLV teammates. Foul was on Hubert Davis. Every Knick who has played has scored already. Andrew Lang rescued by Charles Smith. 9 Knicks have played already, and 9 Knicks have scored. Mason kicks it for Davis. A hand check called just above the free throw line against Fred Vincent. One-time standout guard at Georgia Tech.
People criticize Hubert Davis for his lack of speed. But what he's showing by driving and drawing fouls and going around his man is that he can move by people with his feet. So he's not slow by any means.
That was almost a spectacular connection between Greg Anthony and Monty Williams. The Knicks own the boards, 19-8. Kenny Norman with the turnaround. Nobody is able to hit for Atlanta. We've got 3 for 9, 0 for 3, 0 for 2, 1 for 4, and so on down the line. Andrew Lang is called for his second foul. A very dominant first half for Charles Smith, Herb Williams, and the Knicks.
It was the best first date I ever had, and she's crazy about me.
I couldn't stand him. All he talked about was himself.
I can be a good listener.
He never shut up.
It's funny how two people can look at the same thing differently.
I just hope she didn't think it was too, serious.
Well, he did have a good sense of humor.
To some, this is a great-tasting imported beer. And to others, it's a great-tasting light beer. Either way, it's Amstel Light.
What's the difference? I looked horrible anyway.
What a knockout.
We give birth to the product. The customer gives life to it. We need the dreams of the people. If people would stop dreaming, we would be useless. There was the time where some customer would pay with a piece of paper. I owe Hermes. Then another one said, I have the same, but it's called American Express. Why not?
American Express can give life to a lot of dreams. We even know how to make them come true.
Special Toyota news. Your Toyota dealer's having an inventory reduction sale. To reduce inventory before January, every Toyota must go. Every Camry will be sold or leased at big savings. Get huge incentive savings on 94 Camrys. Lease a 95 Camry with an amazingly low monthly payment. At $239 a month, all that Camry quality becomes very affordable. Or buy with no down payment, no payments until next year. Don't miss the savings. Your Toyota dealer's inventory sale absolutely ends December 5th.
Now on video, MSG Network presents Oh Baby, the Stanley Cup season of the 1993-94 New York Rangers, brought to you by Modell's Sporting Goods. Get your copy of the only complete video review of the Rangers Stanley Cup season. To order, call 1-800-910-TEAM.
And you haven't seen it yet, have you?
I haven't, Al. No, I've been on the road.
No, that's not very nice.
I don't have.
I bet he's seen it.
I don't have a VCR in my room like Marv does.
Only one?
But I'm happy to say, Al, that Joe Whalen, the Knicks loyal fan and Rangers producer, is here tonight. He's in the building, and very proud of the hard work he did on Oh Baby.
Charles Smith hits the free throw. 11 points, 6 rebounds, 5 assists. A very strong line in this first half. And one of the things that Charles has also been doing this season is taking the first half and continuing it into the second half, which he has had trouble doing, either for foul trouble or matters of consistency. And the Hawks have even gotten worse than they were before at only 29%. They're the gang that couldn't shoot straight so far. Andrew Lang, more one-on-one basketball. He's successful, though, in on Charles Smith.
See, a year ago, Al, excuse me, with the rules on physical play underneath, it wouldn't have been as easy for Lang to get inside. There would have been a lot more contact.
Williams lets Davis cut through. Charles Smith. Charles might want a copy of this videotape. He also might want to plan on watching Knicks Rewind tonight. It could be rather fun for him. 49-26. 6 to go in the second quarter.
Andrew Lang posting up Charles Smith, dying to get that basketball.
Lang turns. Nice rebound by Ty Corbin, who just stole it from Anthony Mason, who gets it anyway. Davis uses the screen of Mason. Another one of those soft one-handers. This time it doesn't go. Kenny Norman, at one time one of the big pieces of the LA Clippers sort of discombobulated puzzle, then shipped to Milwaukee, and now in Atlanta he's lost the starting spot, which he's had a few games this year. Greg Anthony, followed by Mason.
What was great about that play by Anthony was he saw the opportunity, backs were to him, defensive people were not looking at him, and he just went right down the throat of the Hawks.
Steve Smith calls a 20-second timeout. 5:03 to go in the half. 51 for the Knicks, 26 for the Atlanta Hawks. This is exactly what it's supposed to be like for a team that has worked for years to get a home court advantage. You come home and just like that, the confidence is back and things are rolling.
Greg Anthony with a good defensive play on a mismatch. Soft pass came in. It was intended for the taller Norman. Greg comes up court looking to pass, but all of a sudden no one's picked him up, so he keeps going. Fortunately for him, Anthony Mason was right there.
Knicks getting very strong contributions off the bench. Anthony Mason, Greg Anthony, Herb Williams, so to speak. Herb is starting tonight, but he's a bench guy by trade. Now tonight at 11:15, join star Dave Jennings with the latest of Jets Journal as the Jets get ready to take on the Minnesota Vikings tomorrow.
Oh, you left out a name on the Jets Journal.
Oh, I'm there for a couple of minutes.
But to say, join me. Join the...
Dave drives the train on that one. Lenny Wilkins is calling out some numbers. Pat Riley, too. Subs all over the place here. Mookie Blaylock returning. Greg Anthony exits. So does Hubert Davis and Charles Smith. Fred Vinson is being told that the Hawks cannot substitute here. So Blaylock will have to wait. So will Derek Harper. Well, the Knicks right now, Oakley, Mason, Herb Williams, Starks, and Anthony. Starks and Anthony is right. Grant Long forearms Mason. Loves the contact. Goes strong. Is rejected by Tyrone Corbin, but a foul is called. John, the Knicks, I'm told by Dave Freed, our highly skilled statistician, have 32 of their 51 points in the paint. And you know, if you were to read the scouting report on the Hawks, you'd say, let's beat them inside. And that's exactly what the Knicks have been able to do
without Patrick Ewing.
That's the key game.
Patrick is out for a what is hoped is a game. He's day-to-day. He's got a sore right knee. I asked Mike Saunders before the game if he looked beyond this one for him to be out, and he said no. He feels that Patrick will be back pretty quickly.
Beyond this one for the Knicks, a lot of contact inside. It'll be a foul on Charles Oakley. Next up for the Knicks, the San Antonio Spurs on Monday night, and then a long rest. The next game for the Knicks isn't until Saturday, so 5 full days off. It'll be 2 shots for Steve Smith with 4:27 to go. John, what do you think happened to Steve Smith? With all the skills that we saw, it was so obvious that this guy could be what everyone thought he could be, but he's not.
Well, he was with a lot of other guards at Miami. A lot of people were vying for playing time. He did not have great people next to him, which is difficult for a guard to shine. And you know, not everybody steps into the NBA, even considering the talent level, and hits it big time. But he's got all-star skills, Al.
Well, he was good enough to be on Dream Team 2, but as Howie Singer reminds me, he logged all the playing time, by the way, in the World Championships by himself. Steve Smith got very few minutes, the least of anyone, and that really frustrated him. Andrew Lang frustrated on that tip. Anthony Mason brings it up. Harper drives right on by Blaylock, and as he dished it off for Herb Williams, the foul is called. So far in the game, Steve Smith only 1 for 2, 4 points. He hasn't been getting nearly the assist numbers that Lenny Wilkins would like. Neither is Mookie Blaylock, at least in tonight's game. And Derek Harper goes to the free throw line. 1 for 2 from the line so far. 7 points now in the game for Harper.
Steve Smith, that you were mentioning, Al, comes off kind of game he can have, as we mentioned at the outset. 16 points last night, 7 assists, 5 rebounds. In the first win for Atlanta a week ago Thursday, he had a big game with 23 points. So he's, I think, with playing time and the fact that Lenny Wilkins is going to him and this franchise has made a commitment to him, he'll start to show his talents.
Andrew Lang with the basket. 3:27 to go. The Knicks up by 24. They have led by as many as 26. And it's been this way since the very beginning. The Knicks got out to the 8-0 lead, and it's been a cruise. Grant Long has called for his third personal foul.
Long and Mason were in a wrestling match. Mason demanding the position he wanted, and everyone knows how physical Anthony Mason can be, and Long engaged him. Take another look at it now. Mason setting the pick and then moving Long out. He wasn't happy. He's like, hey, I'm the one that got pushed. The official saw the contact before that replay that indicated the foul by Long, who now has to go to the bench.
Back live, Mason missed the first free throw. Number 34 into the game for the Atlanta Hawks, Doug Edwards, his second year out of Florida State. Mason makes the nightcap, and it's 55-30. Mookie Blaylock in front of his coach, Steve Smith, and they clear it out for one-on-one. And Smith is able to get by John Starks.
That's a Golden State Warrior type play where they isolate their better one-on-one players.
Williams out high. Harper stumbles, then recovers. Mason, quick move. That's a great move by Anthony Mason. That first step was amazing.
Mason, on a taller man now, gets the ball and just spins right around, executes a beautiful soft touch.
Okay, the shot's set, everyone's smiling, and then no flash. Next time, use Energizer batteries that nobody beats the whiz. They just keep on going.
Protect yourself against skyrocketing fuel costs. Join the Fuel Consumers Group today and save.
I save 20 to 25 cents a gallon on 1,100 gallons a year. That's quite a saving.
One night at midnight, my burner started making funny noises. Within an hour, I had a serviceman at the door.
It's about time the consumer got a break. It helps us save money.
And I know that my family is safe. Fuel Consumers Group. For more information, call 798-WARM.
On any BMW, make certain the price is guaranteed lowest. At Haberstad of Huntington, you can now get the best service on your BMW at the guaranteed lowest price on Long Island. Plus, you get the advantage of extended service hours and much more. Extraordinary service, convenient hours, lowest prices, guaranteed. At Haberstad of Huntington, we'll take good care of you and your car. We guarantee it.
About high performance. Where do you go for tires? American Car Care Centers. They've got a wide variety of higher performance Michelin tires, and you can't beat the low prices. When you're ready to get serious about high performance tires and wheels, go to American Car Care Centers. They know it's not just your car.
It's your life. WTC Auto Centers, your American Car Care Centers, serving all of Long Island and the 5 boroughs.
Taking a look at our Delta Airlines upcoming Knicks schedule Monday. David Robinson, San Antonio here. Knicks game night, 7 p.m. Knicks have a little break till Saturday afternoon. Grandmama will be here. Charlotte Hornets. Alonzo Mourning's healthy. That's a 1 o'clock game. Knicks game night at 12:30 next Saturday.
Anthony Mason completes the spectacular three-point play, and the Knicks are up by a score of 58-32. Doug Edwards off the bench outside for Mookie Blaylock. Edwards almost gets behind Oakley, but a quick recovery. And that's the trademark of Charles Oakley's defensive style, but that's 3 fouls on Oakley. And Doug Edwards will go to the line for Atlanta.
Doug was with the Hawks last year. His rookie year only played in 16 games. He's 6'7" out of Florida State.
He's in, then he's out again. A DNP on the stat sheet last night. Limited minutes before this. Charles Oakley leaves, and Charles Smith returns. Oakley leaves with 4 points and 6 rebounds. Charles Smith comes in with 14 points and 6 rebounds of his own. Oakley also 5 assists. As the Knicks passing has been very, very active. A lane violation and a substitute free throw for Doug Edwards.
Doug Edwards missed the first 19 games of the season last year. Get this, Al, after suffering an injury to his right calf called compartment syndrome.
Do you get that sometimes where you live?
No, that's apartment syndrome. I get that on a daily basis.
They're not nearly the same thing. Herb Williams. Hard off the glass. His shot was bothered by Andrew Lang. 2 minutes to go in the half. Bob Page is at the sports desk. Mike Crispino with Walt Clyde Frazier. All at halftime here on MSG. Another Knick foul. And more free throws for the Knicks. Third foul on Charles Smith. So Oakley got his third, then was replaced by Smith, who now has his third. Tyrone Corbin at the line. He had the 4th longest streak in the NBA of consecutive games, 415. But you know what? With Lenny Wilkins, nothing is safe. He was a DNP in game 416. John Minko filling in for Mike Green, who's got Fox NFL duty this weekend with Walt Clyde Frazier.
You mentioned Corbin out. In the last 5 years, he's missed 2 games.
Big rebound by Corbin. Almost tipped up and out by Andrew Lang. Offensive interference is called. It was a late call, I think, but nonetheless, it was called. Nick Ball with 1:44 to go.
Knicks shooting 58% from the field in the first half. The Hawks at 32%.
Harper cuts away from Blaylock, is met by Corbin, and suddenly it's a foul fest. Rookie Blaylock called for number 2. Derek Harper to the line again.
Harper showing, even though he's 33, he goes around the better guards when he wants to. And Mookie Blaylock is one of the better guards in the NBA.
Knicks have really turned it up on defense, as John said earlier, challenging every shot. They're boxing out, owning the glass, shooting the ball extremely well, passing it maybe even better. And now Derek Harper gives them the 26-point lead. That's matching what their best lead has been so far. 90 seconds to go, 60-34. Here with a minute to go, or just a minute 20 to go, the Hawks have not even yet reached what the Knicks had at the end of the first quarter. Now they finally do with a 3-pointer from Steve Smith. Knicks had 35 points after the first. Harper with the pullback. Monty Williams with the follow. Under a minute to go. And they cleared out for Steve Smith. This worked on the other side before. This time Smith goes to the jumper instead of to baseline and hits it.
That's that height advantage Steve Smith enjoys over Starks. Now that's 2 straight jump shots.
And a 5-0 run for Atlanta. Starks pestered by the much taller Lang. That leaves Herb Williams open. And now Monty Williams. Well short on the 3. And the Hawks lose it out of bounds. It'll belong to the Knicks, and they can play for 1.
Monty Williams missed the shot, but he made a terrific effort following the shot and creating enough confusion, which resulted in the ball going back to the Knicks. Good hustle by Williams.
And Harper takes it way outside, and the Knicks will cycle for the last shot of this first half. And here we go. Starks, Williams. Harper is off, and that will do it. In front of a relatively quiet first half crowd, the Knicks were totally dominant. 60-39. They lead in every category over the Atlanta Hawks. We'll get the latest from Bob Hayes when we come back on MSG's coverage of Knick basketball.
I'm going camping this weekend, and I love it. And I hate camping. If I want to sleep on dirt, I wouldn't vacuum. Fresh air, birds, trees, snakes, bears, poison ivy.
It's funny how two people can look at the same thing differently.
You stand in the clean, clear water and catch your own dinner. Well, you stand in the freezing cold water and catch pneumonia.
To some, this is a great tasting imported beer. And to others, it's a great tasting light beer. Either way, it's Amstel Light.
It's beautiful. You're out there in the middle of nowhere. It stinks. You're out there in the middle of nowhere.
In business, there never seems to be enough of it. And the last thing you can afford to do is run out of it. Time. So rest assured, Delta Airlines will help you make the most of it. With over 4,900 flights a day to over 300 cities around the world. And best of all, we'll make sure you arrive relaxed and refreshed.
Announcing the Dodge Intrepid Equipment Sale, where you can choose the extras to help you enjoy the view, cruise along, feel secure, put your foot down, and still flex your muscles. Throw in a discount from package value, and for only $199 a month, you can lease this remarkable car during the Dodge Intrepid Equipment Sale.
There are a lot of very fine men's stores in New York where you can pay a lot for great clothes. But there is a more intelligent choice. There's Rothman's on Union Square. It's the least expensive way to buy expensive clothes. Rothman's, the more intelligent way to buy men's clothes.
This copyrighted telecast of the National
Back at Madison Square Garden, where the Knicks using some home cooking to get back on track, routing the Atlanta Hawks right now, 60-39 at halftime without Patrick Ewing. Great efforts from Herb Williams, Charles Smith. The Knicks doing the job on the boards, shooting extremely well at 58% and a 21-point lead. Let's check in at the sports desk now. Bob Page standing by to catch us up on what's going on.
All right, Michael, after taking tomorrow off, the Knicks back here at the Garden on MSG Monday night when they host David Robinson and the San Antonio Spurs. Tonight, the Spurs are in Minneapolis, clobbering the hapless T-Wolves, 73-48 in the third quarter. Ex-Knicks coach Bob Hill, just 3-3 out of the gate with San Antonio, but winning this one easily. Former UConn star Donyell Marshall does drill a three-pointer to cut the Spurs' first quarter lead to 27-15. San Antonio led by 16 going into the second quarter. Now up a Donyell miss. Spurs running. Avery Johnson feeds Sean Elliott for the jam. Spurs led by 19, a lead they still enjoyed at halftime over Minnesota, 1-7 on the season to date. If you're just tuning in, Chris Webber and Juwan Howard both are making their debuts with the Washington Bullets tonight at Landover, where they lead the Celtics, this one going right down to the wire by 1 point. Neither the just acquired Webber nor the just signed Howard started. Webber got a huge ovation from the standing room only crowd when he checked in midway through the first quarter and then began to control the boards. Webber had just 4 points in the half, and Washington trailed by 9 at intermission. Later in the half, Dominique Wilkins, after you see Webber score here, will be blocked by Webber, and that triggers the fast break. Here come the Bullets. Don McClain finishes off. Webber has 8 points so far, and Juwan Howard has 9 points and 9 rebounds. So Chris Webber goes to Washington. What a deal for the Bullets. Who knows what those 3 #1 draft choices Golden State will be worth. With the Players Association suing the NBA, who knows if there's even going to be a draft in the future. Right now, this deal is just Chris Webber for Tom Gugliotta. Gugliotta is talented, but he's erratic. Up one night, horrendous the next night. Chris Webber is a super talent. With him and with the talented cast they'd assembled in Oakland, the Golden State Warriors had a chance to win the NBA title this year. With Gugliotta instead of Weber, they no longer have a chance. The Golden State Warriors blew this big time. I'll be back right after these messages.
Sports Desk is brought to you by Old Spice High Endurance Deodorant and alcohol-free sensitive aftershave.
The secret to a strong finish is endurance. High endurance from Old Spice. All day long it proves it's the longest lasting, hardest working, the best deodorant stick. It evaporates less quickly. It also lasts longer. Protects better. Now that's endurance. For the longest lasting, hardest working, the best deodorant stick, demand proof. Get high endurance from Old Spice. You won't go far without it.
Picture yourself 20 years from now. Will you be comfortable? Happy? Chase can help. We make available a wide range of investment alternatives, including the Vista family of mutual funds. Call today. So when it's time to stop and smell the roses, you can enjoy the whole garden. Stop by or call 1-800-CHASE. Chase Manhattan.
Over 4 million miles of roads in Alamo territory.
Highly successful football coach Bill McCartney stunned the college world by announcing his resignation after today. He will not comment on what his future plans might be. We'll have the complete look at today's scores, highlights from college football, Virginia Slims tennis, much more in our 15-minute show right after the Knicks post-game report later on this
Arizona, right?
Begins. Come on. Guaranteed.
Consistently, and we use them primarily now, is because of their service and their ability to solve problems for us. Quality is key. They have excellent lumber products such as Georgia Pacific, windows such as Marvin Windows, and certainly not its specialty home.
Professionals go. Nassau Suffolk Lumber.
They opened it up 8-0 in the first 2 minutes, held Atlanta without a field goal for 5:09, a 17-5 lead. And let's take a look now at the leading scorers at halftime. The summary brought to you by Eagle. Test drive an Eagle at your Tri-State Jeep and Eagle dealer or call 1-800-2-TEST-EAGLE. Here's a look for the Knicks. Charles Smith with 14. He was 5 of 6, had 6 rebounds, 5 assists as well. Derek Harper with 10. Herb Williams in place of the ailing Patrick Ewing with a sore knee, and Herb goes 4 of 6 to score 8 points for the Knicks. Now for Atlanta, they were led by Steve Smith. A few late hoops for him, 11 points. Stacey Augmon, who has moved to the small forward, 9 points. Andrew Lang, 6. John Koncak with 4 points. And joining us, Walt Clyde Frazier at halftime. Unusual 60-39 lead in that the Knicks do not have Patrick Ewing. Are you surprised?
Well, I'm surprised, but I didn't know the Hawks were this pathetic. They've been dismal on the offense
abysmal on the defense, especially in transition. So the Knicks have annihilated them with numerous easy opportunities.
They're doing it on the boards. They're doing it by pushing the ball and really passing the ball very well tonight, too.
Yeah, and the Hawks without a go-to guy, Ackman, their leading scorer, but his forte normally is defense. So he has not been there tonight.
Could be a long year for Lenny Wilkens. Let's take a look at some of the highlights. We begin with Charles Smith. And Herb Williams, close to, if not, the best backup center in the league right now.
And Ewing must be sitting on the bench saying, man, why are I playing tonight? I'd have 100 maybe. So Herb always and the Knicks have dominated.
I remember that you had a pretty good left hand, and so does Hubert Davis.
Remember, Hubert broke his right hand last season, so he worked diligently to improve his left hand. So now it's paying off here with the scoop. Koncak, a belated attempt.
And now the Perry Ellis look at a Knicks fast break.
Yeah, we saw a lot of this Perry Ellis look. So the transition game by the Knicks, they were thriving in transition. This time Starks hooping off the left side. This was the first basket of the game, and that was a harbinger of what was to come for the woeful Hawks.
Well, the Hawks better do something differently. They trail it by 21 points. Clyde, thanks for joining us. We'll be back with more Knicks basketball from Madison Square Garden after these words.
Jerome, Andre, Shannon, Marshall. What is this? Star Search, big name players, funky dances. Madden NFL 95, EA Sports.
You've got to see it to believe it. The Men's Apparel Liquidation Center in Farmingdale. A better way to buy better menswear. Aisle after aisle. One for me, another. Nobody beats our prices. Nobody. Open Friday, Saturday, and Sunday only, and only for the smartest shoppers. 399 Smith Street, a block and a half east of Route 110.
Join the Fuel Consumers Group today and save.
Fuel Consumers Group saved my parents, my 3 sisters money, so I figured it made sense to join.
In the dead of winter at 6 o'clock in the morning, I need service. In an hour and a half, they're there.
We have savings of hundreds of dollars a year. It's worry-free.
The service is excellent. Fuel Consumers Group. For more information, call 798-WARM.
You're looking at one of Long Island's most recognizable landmarks. A landmark that personifies us. But by our competition, the landmark, Raleigh Motors. The metropolitan area's premier luxury car dealership on Northern Boulevard in Rosslyn. Authorized Mercedes-Benz, BMW, Rolls-Royce dealer. Raleigh Motors, where it costs no more to go first class.
Hey, Phil, you missed a great lunch.
Today.
You looking for a house here in town?
No, Pam and I are looking out towards Stony Brook.
Stony Brook? Isn't that about 40 miles away? On your lunch hour, how many did you see?
Oh, I bet I saw at least 100 houses.
100?
Yeah.
You saw 100 houses on your lunch hour?
Yeah, at the home viewing center.
See more homes in 1 hour than 6 months the old-fashioned way. The Home Viewing Center of Long Island.
You gotta see it to believe it.
The United States delivers smart solutions for you. And by Mobile, the station that helps you by accepting more credit and ATM cards than any other station.
Back at Madison Square Garden with a new look, Atlanta Hawks are having trouble finding each other. 4 new faces in the rotation, just 4 assists by this team. A closer look now at the stats at halftime. Al Trautwig and John Andres.
Okay, Mike, it is completely dominating on the stat sheet. There isn't one number, John, which the Hawks are better than the Knicks.
Perhaps Pat Riley was speechless at halftime in the locker room, Al.
I hope for the Hawks' sake Lenny Wilkens wasn't.
Lenny's one of the quieter people, but I'm sure he had a lot to say.
Look at the assists, 18-4. And 12 zip on the fast break points.
Well, we have a Toyota matchup now of the backcourt players for both teams. The point guards, Derek Harper, a very solid half. More effective at the foul line, certainly. 10 points. Mookie Blaylock, a very, very down half, along with the rest of his team. Derek Harper, 5 out of 6 from the foul line. Charles Smith, 4 of 4 from the line. So the Knicks doing a much better job in drawing fouls and making them. They made 80% of their foul shots in the first half.
And all of this productivity without Patrick Ewing. A late scratch because of a sore right knee. So on we go in the second half. The Knicks with only a 4-point edge in the second quarter. They blew this one out early, outscoring Atlanta 35-18 in the first.
Now, Al, the way the NBA seems to work, as we have seen from time to time as we look at a happy Patrick Ewing, the Knicks are all set for a letdown now. Total domination, 35 points in the first quarter, 25 in the second. Now let's see if they can really keep their concentration and effort at a similar level to the first half. It's very difficult to do because the Hawks are now going to play for pride.
Well, the Knicks start off shaky with a turnover. Harper throwing it out of bounds. Grant Long and Charles Oakley the match there. Starks and Smith. Harper and Braylock open for three. Oakley in for the rebound. Starks looking for Charles Smith, who was great in the first half. The pump for Herb Williams. They were all dropping for Herb in the first half, but now the Knicks are 0 for the second. Blaylock shovels it for Lang. Augman all the way underneath, challenged by Herb Williams.
Boy, there's versatility. Here's a guy who played guard first 3 years in the NBA. Now he's playing forward, and he just went in and succeeded with the big guys.
And that was some ball movement that we didn't see very much of from Atlanta in the first half. Oakley out high. Smith, three, Hawks up, misses the layup. Knicks struggling here in the first 90 seconds of the third quarter. Smith.
Make that one.
Grant Long is off. Herb Williams on the rebound. Intercepted by Blaylock. Nice save. Here's Augman. Steve Smith for three. And just like that, it's 60-44. The Atlanta Hawks have shaved 10 points off the one-time Knick 26-point lead. Pat Riley flanked by Jeff Van Gundy and Bob Salmi. Williams for Starks, now Harper. 10 on the 24. Charles Smith. He just picks up right where he left off in the first half, hitting the 20-footer. Knicks on the board for their first second half points.
Nice, too, when you get the ball, when you have no one guarding you, Al, you know.
Stacey Augman with a quick answer at the other end. Stacey Augman, who had only 2 points in the second quarter, has 4 quick ones here in the third. Oakley.
Crisp ball movement by the Knicks, and the intensity of the Hawks on defense doesn't match the Knicks. They're not challenging the shooters at all. There are no hands up, or not enough anyway.
Grant Long was wide open, passed it up. Augman. Stacey Augman now is giving John Starks and the Knicks fits. 3 quick baskets for him, and with 9:05 to go, there's a timeout by New York with the score 64-48. And now Pat Riley's got a lot to say because the Hawks have put together a 14-4 run.
Take a look at our Perry Ellis move here by Stacey Augman. Augman sailing to the basket. No Nick up there challenging him on that shot. The Hawks are playing with much more energy now.
For the Knicks, it begins and ends with defense and some lapses in trying to cover Stacey Augman here in the third. Hawks 2-6 on the season. A rough start following a Central Division winning 57-win season. This season they've beaten the LA Clippers, no surprise, and the Boston Celtics, who have also had their problems. They've lost to Indiana, Detroit, Utah, Phoenix, Sacramento, and Milwaukee last night. Augman again, rejected by Smith. Here's Harper with some help from Williams. Starks with him. And they reset. Herb Williams mismatched against Steve Smith, but couldn't get off the shot.
He didn't go up strong enough.
Here's Augman again, poked away from behind. Grant Long over Herb Williams. And the Hawks are what's happening here in the third quarter, 64-50. And a whistle against Grant Long and Atlanta. Fourth personal foul on Grant Long, who is showing the frustration of that many fouls this early.
He was playing Herb Williams with a lot of physical play. The officiating says not that much allowed this year underneath. Physical play, that is.
In the first half, it was the Knicks scoring all the points in the paint. Now it's the Hawks. Smith hesitated, slapped out of bounds with 7 seconds on the 24-second clock. Nick Ball. Grant Long's got the official NBA red band goggles. Knicks 2 for 7 now as you look at the shooting in the third. Starks misfires.
No reason for John to push up a shot off balance. Any kind of patience gets good shots against this Hawks team.
Augman runs into a trio of Knicks and then throws it out of bounds. Lenny Wilkins, 10 away from Red Auerbach's all-time win record at 938. Harper. I can't believe that wasn't goaltending, but Andrew Lang rejects the shot. Smith for 3. Over the top and out of bounds.
Derek Harper getting inside once again, having his shot sent away.
It looked like it was on the way down to you.
Yes, it did.
By a lot.
It did, Mr. Official.
Thank you. No! Herb Williams with a jump hook. Now, Herb's got a nice array of shots. He's got a lot of different ways he can go to the basket. Knicks by 16. Stacey Augman and Grant Long cutting just had one step better than Charles Oakley.
Well, Charles went for the steal and didn't have help behind him. When you're going to go for a steal like that, it's nice if you have help.
Starks. Steve Smith hits Starks hard. It'll count, and the foul on Starks. He didn't set himself up early enough. And a timeout here at the Garden where this game is dramatically changing. The Knicks lead, once 26, is now a dozen.
For more
Today's term is give and go. Now this is a give and go. This is a gift. Different thing.
Giving a gift? How about a Fuji DL550 Zoom or a Fuji Discovery 90? And nothing's more colorful than prints made with Fuji film.
Nobody beats the Wiz.
Well, things are a lot more interesting now than they were in the first half when the Knicks led by 26. The Hawks have owned the third quarter, and they're within 12 with 6.5 to go in the third quarter.
John Starks has an interesting commitment this year. With every three-pointer he makes this season, Minolta will donate $100 to the John Starks Foundation. Al, you and I were just talking about John starring in the new Minolta commercial. Did a nice job. It was produced by one of the Knicks' most loyal fans of many, many years, George Lois, an advertising Hall of Famer himself. And I was talking to him recently. He was so proud of the work John did in the commercial. And George is usually here, but I think he's home watching commercials tonight that he produces.
And of course, you can see that commercial during our Knick broadcasts here on MSG. I think John came across as a natural in his burgeoning advertising career. Steve Smith hits the free throw to complete the three-point play, and the Knicks now are only up by 11. They led 10-0 in this game, and the last time the lead was less than 12, it was 13-2. Herb Williams off on the running one-hander.
I almost lost my breath, Alan. Fainted. A fake and then a hook shot. That took us back 20 years by Herb Williams. Nice move.
Harper grabs the loose ball. Harper all the way. Getting the roll. Derek Harper with that quick burst of speed. Picks up 13 again. I would imagine you really enjoy it when you go back in time like that, John, and those brief moments when that happens for you.
I just love the hook shot, and I'm so sorry that we don't see it. It's really missing from the game.
Do you see those memories in black and white or in color?
A lot of black and white, Al, for some television, but a lot in color too, because I saw them an awful lot, mostly in the old Garden.
Anthony Mason in, Charles Smith out. First foul by Derek Harper, and Steve Smith and Stacey Augmon are awakening. We came on the air tonight saying the Atlanta Hawks are a guard-oriented team. The guards on this team were not able to do much in the first half. Well, all is changed here because it is Blaylock and Augmon and Smith that are making some things happen.
Smith's having his way with John Starks.
That's a forced shot by Anthony Mason. Smith for the running Augmon. Nice rebound by Herb Williams to race up the floor. It is a 23-8 run for the Atlanta Hawks. Tough pass by Starks. Mason misses. Herb Williams missed the follow. It's another Atlanta rebound. Andrew Lang. John, did you see that in black and white or? Oakley misses. It doesn't miss the putback. 70-57 New York. 4:20 to go. The Knicks trying to get rid of some of the problems that developed on the 1 and 3 West Coast swing. Their longest road trip of the year. That's a great looking shot by Grant Long.
A lot of moves are being made tonight when it appears no one's guarding the man with the ball, as that did.
Oakley for Starks, who uses the low screen from Williams. Now Herb's posting up on Andrew Lang. Good ball for Herb Williams. Herb's got 12 points in the game, shooting 6 of 11.
Herb is throwing more fakes than I've ever seen him execute in a game.
He's playing very confident. And he didn't know, at least as far as we know, up until a half an hour before game time that he was starting.
He's playing young, Al, you know.
That'll be the third foul on Herb Williams, who has seen extended minutes in the absence of Patrick Ewing. Herb working up a sweat with that foul sends Andrew Lang to the line. You get the feeling, John, that this very quiet crowd here at the Garden tonight, maybe due to the late start or beautiful day, everyone was running around the reservoir like you were, and they're just pooped. But you get the feeling the Knicks may need their fans before this game is over.
I happen to encounter the wife of Knicks general manager Ernie Grunfeld at the reservoir today, Al.
You always see people that you know when you're running.
Nancy moving quickly around the reservoir herself.
Look at the free throw style of Andrew Lang. Way down at the waist and then all the way up with nice form once he gets the ball off. 3.5 to go. It's an 11-point Knick lead. Lang, by the way, has 11 rebounds to go with his 8 points. Oakley almost went up in the air with it. And a whistle. They called traveling on Derek Harper. John Koncak returns to the lineup. Blaylock. Swarm of Knicks following him, and the Knicks pay the price. Illegal defense. That'll be their second infraction, and it will be a free throw for Atlanta. They could get it down to 10 points here. And Ogman doesn't do that.
Well, Atlanta is looking forward to the return of Craig Elos sitting on the bench in his civvies.
Where does he fit in as another guard on this team? I mean, really, this seems to be a strange mix of players.
With Ogman as a forward, why, that's where he's going to fit now. And they will have three very solid guards with Blaylock leading the way.
Grant Long looks for Ogman, sneaking in behind Starks. Stacey Ogman now with 17 points. Steve Smith has 19 points, and they're the second half stars for the Hawks. Starks' pass is batted away, but they say it was a kick. And so the Knicks will keep it with 16 seconds on the 24-second clock. All the success that the Knicks built up in the first half is being eroded away. Whoa.
Friday afternoon, live, right here on MSG.
Hi, I'm Pete Carroll, head coach of the New York Jets. When it comes to football, I like to think I know what I'm doing. When it comes to wardrobe, I go to Marsh's. They have everything I need.
Saturday, Sunday, and Monday, designer Ultra Suede sport coats, originally $395, now $199. Designer Ultra Suedes, just $199 at Marsh's.
Marsh's, everything for everyone for every season. Marsh's, everything for everyone for every season. Marsh's, men's and boys at Huntington Village.
That's clout. That's buying power. That's why we're able to save people 24 cents on an average per gallon. That's why they get free comprehensive service. That's why they get 24-hour emergency service. That's turning the oil marketplace into a buyer's market. You know what? Consumers are now winning. That's the benefit of being a member.
Fuel Consumers Group. Call 798-WARM.
Give me that. Now, you don't get...
Mercedes-Benz, BMW, Rolls-Royce, all found at Raleigh Motors on Northern Boulevard in Roslyn. From the moment you enter Raleigh, you'll know we're different. From our magnificent showroom to our state-of-the-art service facility, Raleigh Motors, the metropolitan area's premier luxury car dealership, where it costs no more to go first class. Raleigh Motors, authorized Mercedes-Benz, BMW, Rolls-Royce dealer.
Herb Williams took John Andres down memory lane. John got all warm and fuzzy when he saw this nice hook shot move of Herb Williams. And of course, when John did travel down that road, this is the way you saw it, right, John? This is the way it looked as you went into the past in black and white.
Oh, sweet shot by Herb Williams. Doggone it, it didn't go in, Al.
Derek Harper, Anthony Mason. It's a 72-63, 9-point Knick lead. Williams with the move on Koncak, draws the foul. John Koncak with little foot speed, and Herb Williams with a lot more, taking advantage of that fact, drawing the foul. He'll go to the line for two.
Big John also is very impassive. You know, he gets, he's successful. The expression is always the same.
You'd like to see the teeth gritted just once in a while. 10-point lead, not to be for the Knicks. Substitutions here. Anthony and Charles Smith returning. Oakley out. Derek Harper sitting. The line on Herb Williams, 13 points, 6 of 11 from the free throw line. They correct the scoreboard at 74-63. Knicks by 11. Blaylock draws the double team. Koncak is wide open, and the Knicks will give him the shot if the Hawks can get him the ball. Tyrone Corbin off the bench for the Hawks keeps it alive with some good offensive board work. Under 2 minutes to go in the third quarter. A dramatic change to this game at the Garden. Another offensive rebound for the Hawks. It's Stacey Ogman. Herb Williams is Mr. Help Out on defense everywhere on the floor. The steal by Starks with help from Smith.
Charles Smith operating on Corbin down low. He's got a lot of inches over him.
John Starks misses the three. Mason can't save it. It's Blaylock.
John made 3 out of 4 from the field in the first half, but memories now of his 0 for 9 the other night at Golden State. Oh, Stacey Augmon with a solid drive and finish.
Stacey Augmon has come alive in this third quarter. The 4th personal foul of the game called on this play by Herb Williams.
Augmon getting inside. No Knicks there to block that shot or even present a defensive intimidation. John Starks leaves the game now in favor of Hubert Davis. John 3 for 8 from the field.
Hubert Davis checks in for the Knicks, replacing John Starks, who had missed his last 4 3-pointers in a row. He's 1 for 6 in the game from that distance. So the Knicks have Anthony Mason, Charles Oakley, Hubert Davis, Greg Anthony, and Charles Smith. Smith fakes, moves, kicks it outside for Anthony. Dribbles around Tyrone Corbin and takes advantage of the speed in his favor. Not the height, but the speed.
Very deceptive move also with a crossover move.
Knicks up 10 with the seconds counting down in the third.
Pat Riley doing his best to energize his team.
Hawks have been 11 points better than New York in this third quarter. The Knicks led 60-39 at halftime. Augmon wants to go to Grant Long. 7 on the 24-second clock. On the double team for Koncak, who's got a soft touch. Followed by Grant Long. Offensive rebounds keeping the Hawks very much into this last 2 minutes. Koncak again. This time he drains it. And it's an 8-point Knick lead. Final ticks of the third. Charles Smith. Followed by Oakley, but Grant Long grabs it at the buzzer. Atlanta completely energized. We'll see what the Knicks have for the fourth quarter in a moment.
You don't want to miss the all-new holiday musical from the composer of Aladdin and Beauty and the Beast, A Christmas Carol, at the Paramount. Opens November 23rd through January 1st. Presented by Nobody Beats the Wiz. Tickets are on sale now at the Garden box office and all Ticketmaster outlets.
Here at the Garden tonight, the cast of characters includes Lindsay Davenport to the left, who will be in the finals of the Virginia Slims Championships here tomorrow at the Garden against Gabriella Sabatini, and there 2 spots to the right, her tennis coach, Richard Lewis.
Actually, Lindsay is with her tennis coach. And Richard Lewis is here celebrating another big appearance the other night on the David Letterman show.
He was very funny that night.
He, Marv and yourself, and we all gave him an A. I told him before the game. Not risking deep depression by Richard if it wasn't anything other than an A.
The Knicks shooting numbers falling into the abyss in the third quarter, down to 33%. Unbelievable turn to this game. Stacey Augmon rolls it in and out. The Knicks once led by 26. It's now 8. They built up the big lead behind Charles Smith, and he's going to try and help keep it. They wave off the shot. They wave off the shot on the foul.
Well, Charles Smith with no opposition from Koncak. Koncak also doesn't touch him, it appears.
They say it was before the shot, so the Knicks inbound. Anthony Mason against the much taller Koncak. Back outside for Anthony. Now Mason, the all-alone Charles Smith jumper is out of bounds off of John Koncak's hands. A fresh 24-second clock for the Knicks. Again, it's Charles Smith.
He feels no pressure from contact, so why not stay with that jumper? Charles has a good jump shot.
Smith gives the Knicks a 10-point bulge again. He leads the team in scoring in the game so far with 18 points, 6 rebounds, too.
Steve Smith takes Greg Anthony down low.
Steve Smith, an air ball that's grabbed by Oakley. Knicks can get it above 10 again with a hoop here. And the steal and a foul. Illegal defense has been called against the Atlanta Hawks on the steal. That's their first infraction.
Jake O'Donnell, you can see at the top of the circle there, Hawks player guarding no one. It's a Perry Ellis look at what's going on the floor with Atlanta caught for the illegal defense.
Charles Smith gets Koncak up in the air and gets another foul. John Koncak is called for the personal foul. Actually, they call the foul on Kenny Norman. That's a lucky break for John Koncak, because that would have been his 4th. Charles would have been his 5th.
Perfect from the line tonight, 5 out of 6. He came in tonight having only made 7 of his 15 foul shots this season, but he's really on target this evening.
Now, John, we have some ex-Miami Heat players here, and Steve Smith and Grant Long. Did you hear what happened to the Heat flying to Philadelphia?
Matt Geiger.
The extreme depressurization of the plane they were flying in forced them to return to Miami Airport and resulted in extreme ear pain to many of the players. Matt Geiger actually had a ruptured eardrum in the incident. Happily, they're okay, but I'm sure Grant Long and Steve Smith aren't too sad that they weren't with them for that escapade.
Oh, John Koncak keeps firing away from long range.
Greg Anthony for 3. Oakley keeps it alive, but Kenny Norman is able to bring it down. Steve Smith. He was pestered from behind by Greg Anthony.
Oh, Mason's furious. He got pushed to the floor by Smith. But Tommy Nunez, the official, saw the other foul first. Charles Oakley competing hard. Loose ball goes into Norman's hands. Smith comes down court now. And Smith drives Mason to the floor, but Nunez says Smith was fouled first, which in replay looked quite questionable.
Mason has cooled off. Meanwhile, Mookie Blaylock checks into the game for the Atlanta Hawks, replacing Stacey Augmon. And Andrew Lang is getting set to return as well. Steve Smith looking for point number 20 as the Hawks backcourt turns it around in this second half. Andrew Lang returns, replacing John Koncak. Koncak scoring 6 points, grabbing only 1 rebound, 3 of 5 from the floor. So Smith 1 for 2, and it's 80-69, an 11-point Knick lead. The Hawks got it down to 8, but that's as low as it got. Hubert Davis. Charles Oakley with some help from Anthony Mason. Charles Smith, the first step beating Andrew Lang, but a foul as Lang tried to recapture Charles with a hand.
Boy, Mason has fire in his eyes. He just got rung around the neck in a rebounding situation.
All right, let's go down and get an update from Bob Page.
All right, Al, Atlanta over the Bullets down 1.6 seconds remaining. Scott Skiles, long inbounds pass. Calbert Chaney runs into Chris Webber. The Celtics hang on to spoil Webber's debut, winning 103-102. Back to you.
Well, the big debut for Juwan Howard and Chris Webber. Abe Poland, the owner of the team, called it maybe the biggest moment in the history of the franchise. Fourth personal foul has just been called on Andrew Lang. Chris Webber had 8 points. Juwan Howard had 10 in that 1-point loss to the Boston Celtics. The Bullets, before the trade even, John, looked a lot better than you could have imagined after that preseason visit here at the Garden. Now, whatever they had going for them is going to have to be recreated with the 2 new members. Kenny Norman calls with a foul, sending Charles Smith to the free throw line again.
Charles Smith has become the Knicks' big man. With Patrick Ewing out this evening, he has been consistently effective around the basket.
And he's been very, very successful at the line. Now 7 of 7. Grant Long returning. Kenny Norman is out, and it's very, very clear that Kenny Norman is not a favorite player of Lenny Wilkins, at least right now. He had been starting. He's not, and the minutes he gets off the bench are very limited, especially here tonight. So Smith is now 8 for 8 from the line, and the Knicks have an 82-69 lead with 9 minutes to go here at the Garden.
Al Norman comes off a 1 for 10 from the field last night in their overtime loss to Milwaukee.
And you know, that's a horrible spiral. If you play badly, then you don't get the minutes. Then you really have a tough time getting back into it. At the expiration of the 24-second clock, the Hawks are off. Oakley fires for Mason. And if you're not a good practice player, you can really struggle. And I don't know one way or the other whether Kenny Norman is a good practice player, but being a LA Clipper for that long, I'm going to doubt it. Out of bounds, it'll belong to Atlanta. You going to agree with me on that, or just going to let that go out there?
It's tough to get back in, but Norman's an established guy. I was just looking at prior games. He had a 30-point game against Detroit, 15 against Utah, 22 against Phoenix. I mean, he's capable.
That's when he was starting.
Lenny knows what he can do.
Andrew Lang. It's a 9-point difference once again.
Lenny is so defensive oriented, though, like Pat Riley. I think that he'll judge a guy on both ends of the court, not just on the offensive end. If he's not doing it on defense, he'll sit.
This is a team that held 58 opponents last season under 100 points. Oakley looking for Smith, decides to let it go. And now the Hawks can really make Knicks fans uneasy. A 3 from Blaylock. Big rebound inside by Tyrone Corbin. Down to the guard, Steve Smith. Grant Long bangs into Mason. That'll be an offensive foul, nicely taken by Anthony Mason. Nick Ball. Derek Harper returns to the game. Grant Long just gets rid of the goggles and all. That's his 5th personal foul. He's been frustrated throughout much of the game.
Grant Long just ignoring Anthony Mason's presence to the tune of an offensive foul.
Hubert Davis for 3. And that brings the Garden to life. Just under 7 minutes to go. Knicks by 14. What a quick turn in this one. By the way, John, when you combine most and much, you get moch.
The card with the big payback.
So, Barb, what kind of car are you driving now?
I just leased an Acura Legend.
Ouch. You don't want to test drive the Eagle Vision, then.
Why not? Come on.
No.
Come on, just on test drive. Yeah, give it a go.
Okay. Don't say I didn't warn you now.
Okay, we'll be back.
Barbara's back in the Eagle Vision. How was it?
Oh, it reminds me of my Acura. It's great. Why don't you want me to test drive it?
Probably the least price. I would guess she paid more.
Lease Vision for $239 a month at your Jeep and Eagle dealer.
Well, Hubert Davis has found the touch again. He did it in Los Angeles, and he's kept it now for the 3rd straight game. Our AT&T long-distance shooting demonstration here, fulfilled nicely by Hubert Davis. Drove the ball to the basket so much tonight, his defender was getting ready for a drive. And Hubert showed the other side of his offense, which is the long-range shooting.
Well, the Knicks owned the first half. The Hawks owned the 3rd quarter, and nobody seems to want it here in the 4th. Atlanta shooting 1 for 7 here in the quarter, and the Knicks 2 for 8. Mookie Blaylock guarded by Derek Harper. Inside to Steve Smith, the big height advantage over Hubert Davis, who commits the foul.
Teams are always looking for mismatches which favor, obviously, their players. Now, when this man is being guarded, most of the time it's by a shorter person. He's a 6'8" guard. So Hubert Davis at just about 6'4" offers Steve Smith a terrific advantage because it's very easy once he gets the ball to turn around and see that rim clearly.
Steve Smith, the first-round pick out of Michigan State with 21 points in the game. He and Stacey Augmon have been the point men for Atlanta tonight and in the season. Augmon has 20. Herb Williams. Quick bounce pass from Mason. And a 3-second violation is called against the Knicks.
Can't stand in that paint area more than 3 seconds, and it happens too often for the Knicks.
Derek Harper was pointing a finger at his head as if to say mental error, mental error. 6:20 remaining here in the fourth. It's Steve Smith again. Now Mookie Blaylock, Tyrone Corbin, and Grant Long. Grant Long hits from outside. A rare jump shot by him. He's got 11 points and 9 rebounds. Playing now with 5 personal fouls.
He comes off a season high 27 points last night against Milwaukee.
That'll be an offensive foul against the Knicks. Anthony Mason is called for the offensive foul.
Mason muscling Grant Long. I don't think anything will argue that call.
It looked like the right way to go there. Hubert Davis is out. John Starks is in. Charles Smith replaces Anthony Mason, who just plops down at the end of the bench.
The guy as sensitive as Mason, you know, is very unhappy coming out after a flaw, you know. It's part of the difficulty of guarding, coaching Anthony Mason. He's very sensitive, very demanding of himself and those around him. And you can just get the feeling he's seething.
Yes, you do.
He also gives you the feeling that he never wants to come out of a game, you know, unless he's coming out after a very big game.
Remember, tonight and every night, this is a critical season to the financial future of Anthony Mason, and that's how he's going to play it. And on goes the game with 5.5 to go. Derek Harper leaves it for Herb Williams, who lays it off for Charles Oakley, who got hammered. The ball out of bounds to the Knicks.
Nice block by Corbin on Oakley. Good ball movement by the Knicks big people. Herb Williams with a nice look to Charles. Corbin right on him.
Back live, a very quick foul. Tyrone Corbin is called for the foul, his first. Corbin, by the way, 0 of 7 from the floor. But he's doing a good job off the boards with 7 rebounds. And there's Charles Smith again at the free throw line. He's 8 for 8 from there. Knicks have really hit the free throws tonight compared to what they did on the 4-game Western swing. But then again, free throws in the Pacific time zone are very, very tough at all times. He's 10 for 10 now, Charles Smith. Knicks have a 13-point lead, and Smith in the game has 24. I am informed that there were other time zones, but basically the Central and the Rocky Mountain time zone have very tough reputations as well. Andrew Lang is off. Tyrone Corbin up there battling for another rebound. He sails into the front row. It'll be Nick Ball. A lot of hard work, but just out of bounds. Mookie Blaylock is pulled. Stacey Augmon returns.
A lot of action under the basket. Corbin driving that ball out.
Sometimes the 2 games in 2 nights can really take its toll. Last night, Mookie Blaylock had his 5th career triple-double. 17 points, 10 rebounds, 12 assists. Tonight, across that same stat line, 2, 4, and 4. There's Herb Williams.
Herb with the jump hook shot, drilling the net.
16 points for Herb Williams. The Knicks trying to beat the Atlanta Hawks without Patrick Ewing, sitting it out with a sore right knee. They're up by 15 with 4:20 to go. The Hawks were just not able to continue what they got going in the third. The Knicks turning up the defense a bit.
Knicks have only committed 2 team fouls here, which is certainly in their favor now. The Hawks in the foul penalty situation.
Charles Smith is off. There's Tyrone Corbin again with the rebound. He comes in on Charles Smith. Blocked by Smith. The 0 for night from the floor for Corbin continues. Grant Long, he's had an edge on all night long.
Charles Smith doing a good job moving the feet and blocking the shot of Tyrone Corbin.
Corbin called for 5 fouls. Must have thought he got fouled on that play. Trying to get to the rebound after Corbin had his shot blocked by Smith. Here's Harper. Charles Smith. Oakley with a great rebound. Out for Derek Harper, and the Knicks will play a patient game.
Knicks letting Harper go one-on-one.
Derek Harper with a sneaker squeaking foot dance. Missing on the layup. Starks scoops up that loose ball. 3-on-2. Oakley's underneath along with the foul. And that gets some noise going in the Garden. Charles Oakley revisiting the spot on the floor where he is so often. Looks like he may have been shaken up a bit.
Knicks pushing the ball up after Starks stripped Augman. Nice bounce pass. Derek Harper, our cameraman, getting rocked again. Another look at it now. Charles kept his mind on putting that ball in the basket this time instead of hitting the defender.
Alan Friedman with hit number 2 on the night. The headset was gone.
The Knicks have shot 23 now to be 24 foul shots for the night, while making 20 of 23. Atlanta 18 of 26. So the Knicks have not let their opponents run away in the foul shooting department this evening.
Charles Oakley a double-double night here at the Garden. 11 points and 14 rebounds. The Knicks are flirting with a 20-point advantage again. How frustrating this is for Atlanta. For as hard as they work to make this a game, it's just about all gone. Stacey Augman with the hang time. Grant Long the rebound. Andrew Lang is fouled. And a timeout is called here at Madison Square Garden. Lang is frustrated. So are the Hawks. 92-74. Knicks in front.
As they battle Dartmouth in the Joe Electric Tournament Friday afternoon, live right here on MSG.
Save me! Save me! Save me! I'm being held here at Franklin Square Ford, and you can save me and dozens of other Benjamin Franklins when you buy any new Ford, a new conversion van, or a quality pre-owned car at Franklin Square Ford. Don't let them keep me here another minute when you could put me in your pocket and have a new Ford in your driveway, too. Franklin Square Ford, 690 Hempstead Turnpike, Franklin Square.
Aisle after aisle, at prices you won't believe. We sell only brand new first quality current season menswear, suits, sport coats, slacks, outerwear, ties, belts, and more. If you can't find it here for less, they don't make it. The Men's Apparel Liquidation Center. Nobody beats our prices. Nobody. Open Friday, Saturday, and Sunday only, and only for the smartest shoppers. 399 Smith Street, a block and a half east of Route 110.
Hey, Bill, you...
And the rest of the crew on the station that kicks. It's MSG and the New York Knicks. Say go New York, go New York, go! Go New York!
It's the Knicks versus the Spurs, Monday at 7 after Sports Desk and Game Night on MSG.
Go New York, go!
Join the Knicks on the road in Phoenix as they take on Charles Barkley and the Suns December 15th through December 18th. Road trip package includes round-trip air, 2 nights hotel accommodations, including 1 night at the Las Vegas MGM Grand. Game tickets and more. For information on this and other upcoming Knicks road trips, call 212-268-8844.
Andrew Lang at the free throw line, first of two. While we were away on break, John Andres continuing with the homework. It just never stops, John, using every second to glean as much information as you can.
Always talking about the illegal defense, Al, with Jake O'Donnell.
When you told him he was doing a lousy job, I thought you really sort of got out of hand.
No, never with Jake O'Donnell has the respect not only of broadcasters, Al, but more importantly, the players and coaches around the NBA. The deep respect.
Right at the top of his profession. Knicks up now 92-76. It's been almost 4 minutes since the Atlanta Hawks scored a hoop. They last scored with 6:10 to go, and there are right now 2 minutes and 10 seconds to go. It is exactly 4 minutes since the Hawks scored a field goal. You get into that conditioning thing. We bring it up a lot with the Knicks. Atlanta played last night against Milwaukee, 2 games in 2 nights, fourth quarter. Things were going so well for them, and then suddenly they collapsed. Now, credit the Knicks for the way they played defense, but also the conditioning, I think, is a big part of it.
I'll tell you another shocking number, Al. In overtime last night in Atlanta, the home court against Milwaukee, the Atlanta Hawks scored 2 points on foul shots in the 5-minute overtime. Mookie Blaylock with a 3.
Three-pointer brings the Hawks to within 13 points with 1:40 to go. Big night for Herb Williams. Impressive one for Charles Smith. Quiet one for John Starks, who's definitely having problems with his shooting touch. Starks on the night, 3 of 9, only 7 points. Charles Smith, 24 points, 7 rebounds. Herb Williams, 16 points, 6 rebounds. Charles Oakley, 11 points, 14 rebounds. 12 points for Derek Harper. 9 for Anthony Mason with 7 rebounds. Strong effort off the bench for Mason. Those the heroes of the night for the Knicks. Under a minute. Starks. They just won't go for it. Herb Williams, nice save. Starks. And John, we come to the point of the game. Last night, I was actually shocked. The Nets, who were down 10 points, allowed the last 10 seconds of the game last night in Orlando to elapse without anybody doing anything. No one challenged to get the ball. No one tried to take a 3 and a quick foul. With 20 seconds to go, they just totally gave up. And the clock was allowed to run out in Orlando, and I thought that's not something you're going to see the Knicks ever do.
They were really distracted by the officiating from what I read, too, Al. Which is not the case here tonight with the Knicks.
Not at all. The Knicks do it in the first and second, and in their characteristic fourth. Atlanta scores but 11 points in the fourth quarter. Charles Smith leads the way from start to finish, and the Knicks get right back on track here at the Garden, beating the Atlanta Hawks, who fall to 2-7 by the score of 92-79. Our postgame coverage is coming up straight ahead on MSG.
For more money, you need...
Herb Williams and Charles Smith accounting for 40 points tonight for the New York Knicks as they defeat Atlanta 92-79. We'll be back with more coverage of the Knicks' victory tonight from Madison Square Garden. But first, let's go to Bob Page at the sports desk.
Michael, the Knicks are going to need Patrick Ewing come Monday night when David Robinson and the San Antonio Spurs come to town. They warmed up for that one this evening by romping easily at Minnesota over the T-Wolves, 109-101. Ex-Knicks coach Bob Hill now 4-3 out of the gate. Former UConn star Donyell Marshall drills a three-pointer. That cut a Spurs first quarter lead to 27-15. They led 16 going into the second quarter. Now if a Donyell miss, Spurs running. Avery Johnson will feed Sean Elliott for the Jam. Spurs led by 19 at halftime. The game never in doubt. Chuck Person led all scorers with 23. Donyell Marshall had 17. Now, They billed it as a new era in Washington Bullets basketball tonight at Landover. But a sellout crowd saw an old result as the Bullets, we told you earlier, dropped that 103-102 decision to the Boston Celtics. Chris Webber and Juwan Howard both made their debuts for the Bullets. Neither started. Both showed flashes of brilliance. They're not in game shape, remember. This great play by Webber in the fourth quarter cut a Celtics lead to 84-80. He finished with 9 points and 9 rebounds. Final second, Calbert Chaney, a clutch jumper. Bullets go ahead by 1, but Rex Chapman makes a bonehead play trying to stop D. Brown at midcourt. He's called for a blocking foul. Brown made both pressure-packed free throws with 1.6 seconds left to give Boston its margin of victory. He had a game-high 22, and here are the Bullets colliding on the Scott Skiles inbounds pass, Webber and Chaney, as the Celtics hung on to win. Juwan Howard had about 10 points and 11 rebounds in that one this evening. Now, the NBA scoreboard so far tonight, Indiana won at Charlotte, 102-89. Chicago Bulls, no problems at Dallas, romping by the score of 111-85. Seattle and Milwaukee, 10-point lead for the Sonics in the fourth quarter. Houston by 3 over Denver also in the fourth quarter. We'll have updates on those games, of course, at our full 15-minute edition of the MSG Sports Desk right after the Knicks post-game report. We'll return right after we pause for these messages.
Rucker, I used to sit down in the bed sometimes and think about Rucker. I say, you know, this is interesting. People don't understand.
Before the game, he didn't really do that much to shoot around today. He said his knee was hurting him real bad yesterday, so he got some treatment today. Then he came in tonight and got a little bit more treatment. The doctor looked at him. He said it wasn't feeling right, so he said he couldn't go, and that's when I knew, right before the game.
Does that help you in a sense? You don't have too much time to be nervous about getting a start. Although you're a veteran, you probably wouldn't be nervous anyway, right?
I always want to feel nervous. Once I feel nervous, I know I'm ready to play. It's a good feeling, you know, to have those butterflies in your stomach. But, you know, that's the way I've been playing since I've been here. I mean, it really hasn't been much notice when I'm going to play and when I'm not going to play. So I'm pretty much always mentally ready to play and step in and do what I have to do in order for us to try to get a win.
You know, people are going to look at the score at halftime. I think it was 60-39. They're going to say, well, is that the same team we saw on the West Coast? What was the difference tonight for the Knicks in the first half versus, say, the way you played at Oakland?
Well, I don't know. I think in the first half today we came out and we were giving a lot of help. You know, when they was trying to post players up, we were coming back double teaming. They were trying to put the ball on the floor. We had guys stepping in. We were rotating real well. We were covering up. We were playing great, and then in the third quarter we sort of fell apart, but then again in the fourth quarter we picked it up again.
Your team seems to be playing a little more half-court offense the last few games, and I would think that's to your liking. You got the ball in good positions to shoot it tonight.
No, I really much prefer to push it up and to get the easy one. That way you don't have to run too much.
You don't take too many hits either, right?
No, you don't. But in the first quarter, I thought we ran well. You know, Derek got out, he pushed the ball. John and Charles ran the lanes real well, and we got a lot of easy stuff in the first, especially in the first quarter. We sort of stopped running once we got the big lead and started playing a lot of half-court offense. And that's to our strength. We have good post-up players, and we had good outside shooters. So, you know, if we got to post up and play a half-court game, we can do that.
Let's change the stream of thought for just a moment if we could. There's no hockey happening in this building all year, and people are wondering, are the basketball people going to get it together for a new collective bargaining agreement? I know you're involved in the players' union heavily, and there was a meeting on Monday in Chicago. What transpired there? And do you see progress being made so that your players' union can come to agreement with the NBA owners over the next 6 or 8 months?
Well, what we did was we basically went over the owner's proposal. They gave us a proposal, and they wanted us to get back to them. So we had all the player reps from all the different teams come in, and we met, and we discussed the proposal line by line to make sure everybody knows. So when they go back to their team, they can inform their teammates and let them know what's going on, so they're well informed. So, you know, if people do ask them what's going on, you know, they can sit down, they can clearly state, well, you know, what the pros are and what the cons are, different things. And basically, that's what we did.
All right, Herb, let's hope you come to an agreement, and we have basketball to begin next year and every year after that. Thanks for joining us. Great game tonight.
Thank you. We'll come to agreement.
All right, Herb Williams, the word there on the NBA and the labor situation, and it's a positive one. Guests on the post-game show here for the New York Knicks received the American Express gift check. Think of it as a universal certificate that can be used to buy anything just about anywhere. Gift checks are available where American Express travelers' checks are sold. Players also received gifts by Carl Caney, inspired by the streets of Brooklyn. Carl Caney footwear available at Dr. J's. Recognize the collection that symbolizes unity and power. Carl Caney. And guests might receive as well the dinner for two at Martini's Restaurant, located at 53rd and 7th Avenue, an Italian trattoria with New York City's largest outdoor cafe. Another fine Reese restaurant. Back with more from the Garden after this.
Today's term is driving the lane. This is how I drive the lane and take it to the hole. And this is where I drive my van and take the whole family.
Stay on the move with a Sony cordless phone, and don't drive anywhere without a cellular phone from AT&T.
With over 50 stores in the tri-state area, you'll never be called for traveling. Nobody beats the Wiz.
So have you made any decisions yet?
I'm thinking about taking the job up at Meyer and Holt.
What do you need to be the best?
Here, Pepper. Bring it here, boy.
Honey, dinner's ready.
Let's go, Pepper.
Honey.
All right, all right. Can I get some help here?
New York Lotto. Hey, you never know.
The Knicks only score 32 points in the second half, but they still win by 13 as they beat the Hawks of Atlanta 92-79. This run at home continues Monday, and we'll join our coverage at 7 o'clock as the Knicks prepare to take on the Admiral and his San Antonio Spurs. We're wrapping up our game coverage, but lots more to come on the Knicks postgame report here on MSG. This is Al Troutwick filling in for Marv Albert, along with John Andres and our entire MSG crew, producer Howie Singer and director John Gallagher. MSG announcers clothing is provided by Perry Ellis Menswear. Stay tuned. The postgame report is next.
New York Knicks basketball has been brought to you by Ice Draft. Taste the future of draft beer. New Ice Brewed Ice Draft from Budweiser. By Old Spice High Endurance Deodorant and alcohol-free sensitive aftershave. By AT&T International Business Services. Let AT&T work for you. By the Discover Card, the card with the big payback. And by Nike, who encourages you to participate in the lives of America's youth.
Don't miss the 10th annual preseason NIT at Madison Square Garden. Big East favorite Syracuse headlines the 16-team field fighting for a trip to the Big Apple. Also featured are ACC Power Virginia, defending Ivy League champ Penn, Alabama, and Memphis. Catch the semifinal doubleheader action on November 23rd, followed by the championship doubleheader November 25th. The 10th annual preseason NIT. Get your tickets now.
Imagine your favorite.
Welcome back to Madison Square Garden, where the Knicks have beaten Atlanta 92-79, opening a 10-0 lead, ballooning that to 26. Hawks cut it back to 8. The Knicks hold on and they win it 92-79, returning from the West Coast road trip and getting back on the winning track. They move their record now to 5-3. The Atlanta Hawks are 2-7. So a good return home for the New York Knicks, even without Patrick Ewing, able to get back into the win column. Now, Pat Riley, the Knicks coach, met with the media just moments ago. Let's check in on what happened there.
We stepped up and, probably had our best start, thus far. Guys are very active and intense, and, we played just a very good game in the first half. I thought, handling the ball and being efficient, not turning the ball over randomly like we did on the road, and we were trying to, play defense without making a lot of fouls, especially when they're in the penalty and isolated situations. So we're continuing to find out what we can do and how we can be effective defensively and not get ourselves into this, this dilemma that we've been in, from a personal foul standpoint. I think for the most part we were much better tonight, but we just had a good game, good win.
How important was it to get off to the quick start?
It was good. Our guys were ready. Patrick wasn't, available, and Herb stepped up, and played extremely well. We were just very efficient and played very hard.
terrific intensity by Charles Smith?
Yeah, he's going to get most of the looks, with Patrick out in the post. We're delivering the ball to him. He's taking it to the basket, getting fouled, and, he can play down there, and, that's what we need.
Was this a one-shot deal with Patrick? Or?
I don't know. He's very sore and swollen, and so we have to monitor that. And it's disconcerting for him and for us because he's trying to get himself back in shape and at the same time, keep his knee, at least somewhat healthy. But it hasn't worked.
Well, with Charles playing the way he is down low and Herb, putting some steady work, you could envision, having this happen more often just to give Patrick more rest?
Well, we want to get him healthy and get him in shape. He missed all of training camp. But our team, supposedly has a lot of depth, and I think Herb's one of the best backup centers in the league, even, at 37 years old. He's of all the players that we have on our team, I mean, he is as good a leader and model and intense and wants to win and wants to do things right. And, when he gets his opportunity, he makes the most of it. I don't feel any, major, drop-off from an experience standpoint, wisdom standpoint. He really does things well for us out there.
Coach's press conference brought to you by the New York Times tonight. And Pat Riley paying tribute to Herb Williams, who joined us just after the game tonight. A great game for Herb, 16 points and 8 rebounds. Also making mention of the fact the Knicks got to the foul line more frequently tonight. 21 of 24. Excellent shooting there, led by Charles Smith, 10 for 10. And a cloud of concern, perhaps, Patrick Ewing, as Pat Riley mentioned, having very sore right knee. And he missed tonight's game. If you are joining us late, hopefully Patrick will get back in the lineup as soon as possible. We'll return with more of the post-game report here from Madison Square Garden as Derek Harper drove it to Atlanta tonight.
From the city by the bay to
10 of 10 from the line. We mentioned he also had 7 rebounds, 5 assists. Herb Williams off the bench in place of Patrick Ewing. 16 points for Herb. He had 8 rebounds as well, and he played 34 minutes tonight. Harper with 12, Oakley with 11. Now for the Hawks, Steve Smith had a couple of good spurts, 21 points. Stacey Augmon now getting adjusted to the small forward position with 20 points. Andrew Lang, who's forced to take more shots now in this offense with Kevin Willis gone, had 12 points. Grant Long with 11. And now we are joined on the post-game report by our intrepid traveler and our locker room guy, Michael Kay, who was talking with Lenny Wilkins, who felt that these guys are just getting to know each other, I guess.
It's pretty much a work in progress is what Lenny said. He said, we were awful in the first half. He said we played pretty good basketball in the second half. He said, but against the Knicks team and on the road, you can't bury yourself that much and expect to come back. He said, really, it's like training camp all over again, but you don't have the luxury of the games not counting.
And what did the Atlanta Hawks think about the Knicks appearing without Patrick Ewing?
Well, Steve Smith said that it gave the Knicks a little bit of a different look. They were able to go to Charles Smith down underneath on the blocks, and Smith was able to assert himself just a little bit more. They did that all night, and Smith really did a good job. Really, when Ewing's in the game, the Hawks felt Smith can't do that. He can't camp out down on the lane. Tonight he was able to do it, and the Knicks, to their credit, they found him. There you see Starks doing it. Again, he goes in strong with the shoulder, a pump fake, and then he goes up. So he did a good job, and the Hawks knew that even despite the fact the Knicks did not have Ewing, that they would be tough. Lenny Wilkins said, if you come into a game against the Knicks and they don't have Ewing, and you think it's going to be easy, you're really making a mistake because they have a lot of good players. They could plug in Herb Williams and still do a pretty good job.
I know you and I talked about this on the press table, the fact that Atlanta has a strong contingent of guards, but do they have too much guard play and not enough inside play?
It looks that way, but they want to really develop Lang and have Long assert himself underneath as well. Mookie Blaylock said really the key right now is just having everybody get to know each other. He said that really shouldn't be an excuse. He said we're all NBA professionals, and we have to make it happen, and we have to make it happen quickly. And Steve Smith said, listen, that's a great excuse, but if we keep getting to know each other, he said we're going to be at the bottom of the division and we'll not be able to catch up.
I suppose the only good thing with all this player movement for Atlanta is that it came very early in the season. They do have 75 games left. to adjust to each other and learn and hopefully become a better team.
Well, that's looking at it on the sunny side, but Lenny Wilkins said, we just got 2 new players in the last week, and it's hard to infiltrate those players into the offensive scheme. He said, really, by me watching on the bench, I could see how many things we messed up, how much we were out of sync and out of rhythm. He said, people in the stands might not see it. He said, but some guys were not running plays that they should have been running. He said, and that'll come, but it's still pretty late to have these guys come in and try to infiltrate them into the offense because they're key players that came here, not guys that are going to be substituted off the bench.
So it's almost like a training camp again for Atlanta Hawks,
Absolutely,
right?
a work in progress.
All right, Michael Kay, thanks for joining us. We'll be back. Curtis Bone will join us. We'll talk with Charles Smith as well when we come back from Madison Square Garden.
For home theater sound that will envelop you, for music that'll get you up on your feet, Yamaha and nobody beats the Wiz. Home entertainment totally in a class of its own.
Hey, what do these songs have in common?
Since Melissa Etheridge. December 13th at
And the Ice Draft dunk of the game. Brought to you by Ice Draft, and it comes from Charles Smith charging in off the weak side and blasting home a jam. He and Herb Williams combined for 40 points, 24 for Charles Smith tonight. And we talked to him moments ago in the Knicks locker room.
Patrick asked, do you feel a little more freedom to operate down low? You've had a couple of games that you played without him. You've been pretty aggressive down there.
Well, I have no other choice. As far as the post game goes, I think a lot of it's going to go to Herb and myself and some of Mason. We just have to produce. So we know that it's going to happen. You have to be prepared for it and be ready to play and deliver.
Charles, you guys jumped out of the box big time, and then in the second half, what happened?
Well, I'll tell you what, thank God we got out the box early. I mean, everybody wanted to step up, and we got it done. I think in the second half we got a little complacent, a little content, and we didn't play with the intensity that we did early in the game, and we let them get back in the game. But I think once the fourth quarter came around and we saw what we were faced with, everybody got back in gear.
And Curtis Bunn joins us, and I guess Charles Smith would be one guy that Patrick Ewing might go to for a little advice on how to deal with the soreness in a knee.
Certainly, we all know Charles Smith endured quite a few problems with his knee last year after having undergone the same surgery Ewing went through. And he said he's worried right now, but he's concerned but not worried. He feels like Patrick certainly has to maintain. He said all along, we need Patrick to come back when he's ready to have him for the whole year, not just come back during the exhibition season and then have flare-ups like this. So hopefully they're feeling that this is a short-term thing that he can overcome real quickly.
And somebody had an explanation as to why the Knicks play so well when Patrick is not in there.
Well, they're kind of used to it. Oakley said this isn't the first time we played without him. They certainly played without him all exhibition season. Last season during periods where he didn't play, Herb Williams stepped in and did a creditable job. So they were somewhat comfortable. And as you know, notice the ball movement is much swifter. More guys seem actively involved in the offense, and that certainly promotes team unity.
And you and I looked at the stat sheet, and it said a real good distribution. Everyone had about 10, 12 shots. All right, Curtis Bond, thanks for joining us on the post-game report. We'll be back with more from Madison Square Garden after this.
All this traffic, you got to get it first.
24 hours a day. Get it first. Get it fast. Get it now on 1010 Wins.
You give us 22 minutes, we'll give you the world.
Now, places you have longed to visit. Places you have only dreamed about.
Didn't really matter. They were trying to come back from 20-plus points down throughout. The assists, the Knicks 18-4 in the first half. They finish up 25-17. Join us again Monday night, the San Antonio Spurs. The Admiral, David Robinson, will be here. 7 o'clock game night following Sports Desk. And speaking of which, that's coming up next as well. Rappin' Roberto, Bob Page will be with you. College football and everything else. Mason and company do it to the Atlanta Hawks tonight. And for all of us here on MSG, good night, everybody.
New York Knicks postgame has been brought to you by your Tri-State Quality Ford dealers. See your Ford dealer